Oh man. So I live in a bad neighborhood. We had to actually padlock our fridge to keep the rats from breaking in. Like, that's how bad it is. Some guy died of heroin next to us, next to my house. He died in a garage. That's how bad my neighborhood is. Yeah, his garage was an apartment and he paid rent for it. Anyways, he died. He died in that apartment. And then we knew it because it smelled real bad. Oh, we woke up the next morning and go, oh, this smells like the 90s. Somebody must have died of a cocaine overdose next door to us. And then we let the smell sit for like 3 days. We all decided, me and like the 2 Mexican families living in my apartment, decided to let this corpse sit next door to us because we wanted to lower the rent. We wanted the rent to be lower. And we thought, hey, if the smell of death is in this neighborhood, maybe they'll lower the rent. So our neighbor just sat in his apartment for 3 days, and it was like a sunny day, like for 3 days. And then finally the smell just got to a better neighborhood. And somebody called it in. Anyways, when they opened that garage, the guy had melted in his garage. He turned into a puddle. And then like rats ate him. Like rats were eating him for like 3 days. Because we live in an alley. And you know, there's a lot of easy access for rats. So they opened this house up and this corpse was in there and rats had eaten him. And so they called the hazmat unit in and they cleaned it all up. And then they raised the rent on that garage. Yeah, they raised the rent on that garage. You know, but in the meantime, we ended up getting a rat problem in our house. Like, because all these rats, like, that were like feasting on this guy, just decided, hey, you know, we kind of like the heat of this apartment next door. So we got overrun with rats. And these were all rats that had tasted human flesh. And they were like super aggressive. And they were big, you know. They're big, like you can measure them like, you know, they're like 20 inches long. And it was hard to sleep. So we called our landlord. We said, hey, we got this huge rat problem going on in our apartment. You got to do something about this. You got to lower the rent. And the landlord said, let me come over there and see what I can do about this. So anyways, the landlord comes over like after a couple days. And we've been fighting rats, you know, keeping them from our tortillas and everything. And he pushes a bunch of glue traps under, like, in the crawl space of like the apartment we were living in, you know, because that's how it is. He pushed a bunch of glue traps in there, like really big ones, like the large ones. And then he said, oh, that takes care of your rat problem. And then the next like day, we got a notice that he's going to charge us $75 more for rent every month. He raised the rent. And then I looked at it and I said, well, it's my fault because of my lack of humanity. And that's the end of that joke.